Hey, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. Have you ever played bass and realized that you're not as good as you think? That your sound isn't as impeccable as you've ever dreamed? Well, today I'm going to change that. I'm going to show you 5 ways that you can improve your sound. Let's get started with the list. Hey, I'm up here now. Okay, so tip number 1, tune your bass, because I know a lot of beginners that do not do that because either they don't know how, they just haven't really thought about it. But I would recommend tune your bass once every time you play, because it's just you'll get a feel for what in tune actually sounds like. There's a lot of different methods you can use. You can use one of those little clip-on tuners, or even one of those apps. I'd advise one of the clip-on tuner kind of things, but if you either can't afford one or just don't have the time to go out and get one, those work too. I would advise against tuning by ear to start, because it kind of you're not going to be perfect right away, so it's going to take a little bit of practice. But I want you to hear the difference between what an in-tune bass sounds like versus what doesn't. I want you to tell me which one you think sounds better. Hey, tip number 2 is have your finger be as close as possible to the fret, but you don't want to be touching it like this, or you get a buzzing sound, or too far away from it like this, or you get a different buzzing sound. Nobody wants any buzzing sound. So you want to press as close as you can to the fret without touching it, on top of it, or being too far away from it, because you just want to be as close as possible. And it seems like a really easy thing to do just on paper, but it's going to take some practice, because even I mess up with this sometimes. Like sometimes when you're playing faster, like you're going to miss the fret sometimes. But it takes a lot of practice to get as close as you can. And I would suggest running through your scales, but being extra careful of that. And even if you have to play it a little bit slower, eventually you'll be able to play it faster and with a better sound it'll be more pleasing, and it separates you from being a beginner. All right, tip number 3 is make sure when you're placing your fingers, you're going to want to make sure that you're going through the string. Instead of just kind of plucking it like that, you want to go through it. You get a much bigger sound. It just sounds a little bit more professional. You can do it with you want to hit it with your thumb on this big thick E string. You want to use your thumb through it to go through it, and you want to hit this A string. You want to go. You want to just go through it all the way, and then with these other 3 strings, you want to do pretty much the opposite. You're gonna want to pretty much be pinching. Like you want to get these 2 fingers together. So you want to have so say I'm gonna play this note, which would be play a C right here. You want to have your finger, you want to have it touch this, and you want to have it hit that top string. And this goes for all the lower strings, and it's kind of a personal preference if you want to alternate fingers. It all depends on what you're trying to do. But what I would suggest is to just start by assigning. I like to do it in pairs, so I'd assign my A string to my first finger, and I'd assign my D string to my second finger, and then I'd assign my fourth string, which would be my G string, to the first finger. I just go back and forth, so I would be like. And so you can just kind of go between these strings, and it'll help you play faster. It might seem like you're going to get your fingers all tied up, but with enough practice, just like everything else, it's going to be possible. And it's better than, in most cases, it's better than just using your thumb for all of the strings, because you won't be able to play as fast. You won't be able to. Tip number 4 is to vary your bass lines, because if you're in the key of C, you're probably playing something bland. You're playing your root notes, like you're going to be playing 8th fret, which is a C. You're going to go down to the A, then down to the F. And while that sounds like whatever, it's not good. It just sounds bland. It's boring. It kind of makes you fade into the background, and you want to have your own thing. So instead of playing the root note, which should just be the bottom note of the chord, I would suggest play different intervals of it. Instead of playing the root, maybe start playing the 5th. Or you could play a 4th or a minor 3rd. You can get so many different sounds. For example, take this progression where I'm going to be playing over a C major progression, and I'm going to play root notes the first time, and the second time I'm going to try some different intervals, and I want you to see which one you prefer. All right, tip number 5, my final tip for today, is gonna be playing in time. Because listen, I know it's not the most fun thing in the world to just have your just going on the whole time. It's not fun, but it helps. Rhythm is probably the most important thing when it comes to the bass, because at its core, it's a rhythm section kind of instrument. You're going to be playing solos maybe sometimes, but the majority of the time you're going to be accenting what's already there and laying a good foundation. And to do that, you need a really good rhythm, because if you're off beat, everyone else is going to be off beat because they're counting on you. So don't let them down. Grab a metronome, download an app, play it. I would recommend Fender Tune, because you can use that as a tuner from earlier, and it also has a metronome and some beats you can play along to. Once you get better at feeling those times, you can switch the signatures. So all around, I'd recommend that. There's probably about a bajillion other ones that you could use, but that's what I use, and I think it works pretty good. At any rate, yeah, there we go. And that's going to be all the tips for today. If you learned something, if you know someone that's a beginner, or if you just enjoyed the video, please do send it to someone who needs it. Or just hang out. Come check out my Discord server. We need people. I wanted to create like a nice space where people can come talk, hang out, and just share what they got going on. But yeah, it's gonna be all for this video. See you later.